Luke chapter 23 verse 33. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, or a place of skull, they crucified him and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. This is the way going to the garden tomb. Inside the garden tomb. Picture of Golgotha many years ago posted on the street. The Golgotha place looks like a skull with the eye and nose. At our back is the place where Jesus is crucified. Before we proceed to the place where Jesus was crucified, our tour guide gave us a briefing of the place. She is showing us the symbol of Alpha and Omega, and it is also written in the tomb of Jesus.
So there's a door in, and there's a window, a ventilation window, which lets light and air in. And this is what a diagram of what it looks like. So there are two chambers. This is the weeping chamber or preparation table, and there would have been a bench across here where you could put the body and prepare it, and then you would take it through to the burial chamber where there were three shelves, stone shelves or benches called loculi. So there was room for three bodies. It was just one family, it was a rich man's tomb. Okay, and the body would be laid there. In a normal course, it would take 12 to 24 months for the body to decompose, and then the bones would be put in an ossuary, which is like a stone box about the size of a window box, long enough for the femur and high enough for the skull. And the box would be put under the shelf, ready for the next person to pass away. So this tomb, we believe, would have been the same way as one that Joseph of Arimathea gave Jesus. This was the dates back to before Jesus. So this is the door in, and you can imagine Joseph and Nicodemus bringing the body, preparing it here, and then laying it down on the shelf and coming out and rolling the stone across the door. And we know that Jesus had said he would rise again in 3 days. So the Pharisees and the chief priest went to the Romans and said, we want you to guard the tomb so that no one can steal the body. So the Romans made the tomb as secure as they could and put 4 guards there, we think, about 4, to guard it so that nobody could take Jesus out. And then there was the Sabbath. So on the Sabbath everybody rested, and early on the Sunday morning the ladies who had seen where the body lay, Mary and Salome and some of the other ladies, they came with spices because they wanted to finish the job that had been begun. And as they approached the tomb, they said, well, who will move the stone for us? Because it was a large, heavy stone. And I think God heard from heaven, because he sent an angel, and with a flash of lightning and an earthquake, that stone was rolled away. Not so that Jesus could get out, because he'd already risen and gone, but so that the ladies could look in. And when Mary looked in, she saw 2 angels sitting where the body had been, one at his head and one at his feet. And the angels said to her, why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, he is risen. He's gone ahead of you into Galilee. Tell the disciples and tell Peter. And we know that when Peter came, he looked in and he saw the grave clothes lying on the bench, their head wraps separate from the body, as if the body had risen through it and left the grave clothes here. So Mary came out of the tomb and she was weeping. A lot had happened, and she didn't understand it all. And as she walked through the garden, she saw a man who might have been the gardener, and she said to him, "Where have you laid him? Where is he?" And through her tears, she heard Jesus say, "Mary." And she recognized his voice. She knew it was Jesus. And she said, "Rabboni," and she worshipped him. And if you read a bit further on in Matthew's Gospel, when the disciples met Jesus, the risen Jesus, their response was to worship him. I believe there was something of the glory of God shone through the risen Jesus that people could see. So we say, as you go down to the tomb,
John chapter 19 verse 41. Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, wherein was never man yet laid. They laid Jesus, therefore, because of the Jews, preparation day for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. The entrance of the tomb. This is the exact place where Jesus was buried. Inside the tomb. The symbol of the Alpha and Omega written inside the tomb. Revelation chapter 22 verse 13. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Top view of the tomb. The stone covering the tomb of Jesus. This is the place where the wine is made during the time of Jesus, called wine pressing, and it is near the tomb of Jesus.